Is official. Indianapolis will host the nation's top swimmers as they compete for a spot on the next Olympic team. It was this time last year, remember, the city threw a big party for the athletes headed to Paris. And today, USA Swimming says it's coming back. Anne-Marie Tiernan was there for the big announcement. Anne-Marie, this is exciting.
Well, it is exciting, Dustin. I'm here joining you from Lucas Oil Stadium, where just within the last hours this morning, the city made it official. Indianapolis will be the official host city for the USA Swimming Olympic trials leading up to the LA 28 games, a home games. Now, as you know, it was just about this time last year that we hosted the Olympic trials leading up to the Paris games. We had the Eiffel Tower. We had a wedding at the Eiffel Tower. We had a pool here in an NFL stadium the first time ever, and we set attendance records for swimming. So how does the city top itself? I asked that question today. How do you top yourself? That's a tough task.
It is a tough task, but one thing I know about Indianapolis, all of the volunteers that show up and all of the committee members that work on this, they will dream, and they will dream big, and they will find new ways to raise the bar again. It is a lot of pressure, and when we were sitting there putting this together and talking to USA Swimming, we were talking about how we know we are going to make it better. We just don't know yet exactly how we're going to do that. But I know Indianapolis is going to show up, and they're going to make sure that it is bigger and better than it was before.
So a little more than 3 years now for the city of Indianapolis to make plans to host Team USA hopefuls once again. That will be in June of 2028. They estimate the economic impact from last year was $100 million. We had people that were showing up for swim trials at night, 20,000 attendees for the finals, and we had 6,000 volunteers pulling it all together. So with an event of this size, they say they need to get the team together. If you're interested in being a volunteer or learning more, you're urged to go to the Indiana Sports Corps website. Reporting from Lucas Oil Stadium, I'm Anne-Marie Tiernan. Much more on this big announcement today coming up as our news continues later at 4, 5, and 6. Dustin?
All right, Anne-Marie, thank you so much. Indianapolis doing what Indy does best.
That's right.
Hosting big things.
Yes, yeah. And speaking of swimming, for a change, we've got swimming weather here.
That's right. It's feeling a lot more like summer.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, nice to get out on the lakes right now and the pools because no storm threat today. That will change tomorrow, but yes, we're staring down potentially our hottest of the year, which is not saying a whole lot there, Dustin. 87 so far has been our top number back on the 15th of May, and I think we're going to come close to rivaling that mark here. Already in the lower 80s, we hit 80 degrees yesterday. And we pretty much have 80 plus all over the map here, up to 84 in Shelbyville. You take these numbers, compare them to this time yesterday on the noon show, almost 10 degrees warmer. The bigger difference in terms of air mass change is the temperatures approaching upper 80s this afternoon, but it's the muggy meter that's climbed. If you recall, yesterday we had dew points in the 40s. In the mid-60s now. So that's what you're feeling. That's the difference maker today. It does not fuel any thunderstorms. It will be hotter. It's going to be more humid if you've got kids on the pitch, ball diamond, if you're going to be out playing pickleball, whatever it is you're doing this afternoon, you're going to feel the increased mugginess. And if you've got the sensitive respiratory system, you're going to have to deal with the air quality that remains moderate. Storms stay to the west of us today. That's where the severe weather risk is. That will slide to the east and incorporate a good portion of Indiana for tomorrow. We'll time out the arrival of the storms ahead in the 7-day forecast.
All right, Sean, we'll see you then. Yeah. Thank you. This afternoon, Metro Police say a person is dead, another injured after a double shooting just north of downtown. IMPD says the shooting happened at the historic Dorchester Apartments near 37th and Penn around 4 o'clock this morning. Here's video from the scene. Officers found a woman and man who'd been shot. The woman had died. Medics rushed a man to the hospital. At last check, he was in serious condition but stable. Police say they do not have a suspect in custody just yet. They believe it could be a domestic-related shooting.
Our agency tries to work extremely hard with our domestic violence advocates, and so some of them are here on scene as well too. And so again, we're trying to do everything that we can to piece exactly what occurred and take this individual into custody.
And police are asking anybody with information to call them. They're also urging people going through domestic abuse to reach out to them for more resources. An Indianapolis man will serve 35 years in prison for shooting his pregnant girlfriend. The woman survived the shooting, but her unborn child died. A jury found Stephen Weiland guilty of attempted murder and aggravated battery during a trial earlier this year. Back in 2023, Weiland shot his girlfriend in the head while her 3 other children were inside their home. A woman is under arrest connected to a deadly overdose at an Indianapolis gym. Employees at Planet Fitness found 39-year-old Derek Sink unresponsive in a tanning bed back in November. The coroner confirms he died of an overdose just days before he was found. Police say texts on Sink's phone led them to 41-year-old Heather Bradford. Bradford is now charged with dealing in a controlled substance resulting in death, which is a level 1 felony. Also this afternoon, we're learning more from the courtroom after the teen driver accused in a deadly crash made his first appearance in adult court. Trey Williams was driving a car with Mason Alexander as his passenger when the car swerved off the road, hit a tree, and then caught fire. Our Logan Gay was inside the courtroom.
This week is a big one for HSC students, graduation week, and it should have been a time of celebration for Mason Alexander and his family. But instead of preparing for the celebration, they're spending their time going in and out of courtrooms.
No family wants to be, in this position. Not Kelly, not our extended family, not the Williams family.
But this means the families have gotten to know more about the Hamilton County Courthouse than they ever wanted to.
It's weighed heavy on the family, but again, each day that it brings us closer to justice for Mason.
Trey Williams appeared before the judge wearing his orange jail jumpsuit and listened as the judge read him his rights and his charges.
You are charged with the following. Count 1, reckless homicide, a level 5 felony. Count 2, reckless driving, a class A misdemeanor.
Williams has been in custody since his arrest on May 1st. He was waived from juvenile court to adult court last week. Monday, the judge discussed his bond. Originally, the prosecution and defense had agreed to a $10,000 bond. However, the judge said the circumstances of this case were so troubling that he actually decided to raise the amount to $50,000, something the Alexander family and the chief deputy prosecutor support.
We're dealing with a behavior that needs to be adjusted in some way. I think the courts and parental guidance is more focused to get that achieved.
Ultimately, the Alexander family says no matter the outcome, there are no winners here.
They have their child or young adult that is potentially facing prison time, but we also have Mason that received a sentence of eternity.
A message the prosecution hopes the community hears loud and clear.
We want to let everyone know that we take these kind of cases very seriously, and I hope that everyone takes a moment and a step back and a deep breath and drive carefully.
Carefully, like your life depends on it.
And to Hendricks County now, where a new trial date is set for the man at the center of a child abuse investigation at a daycare. Gabriel Garner appeared in court yesterday facing 48 different sexual abuse charges against children. The investigation started at the Main Street University for Kids daycare in Brownsburg, where Garner worked. Police say multiple victims say Garner asked them to touch him inappropriately. Court documents reveal Garner also had photos of children from Main Street University for Kids on his cell phone. Investigators have identified at least 8 potential victims. Garner is expected back in court June 30th. The director and the owner of that daycare are also each facing charges. Family, friends, and leaders across Indiana are saying a final goodbye to Colts owner Jim Irsay. They gathered for a private funeral service yesterday. Irsay died back on May 21st at the age of 65. And since that day, there's been an outpouring of love and support for him. Certainly no surprise that so many people gathered for yesterday's memorial service over at St. Luke's United Methodist Church, as you see right there. We spotted former players and coaches, including Dwight Freeney, Reggie Wayne, Chuck Pagano, and Frank Reich. Tony Dungy did a reading during the service, and John Mellencamp performed a couple of songs. Former Indiana Governors Eric Holcomb and Evan Bayh also stopped by to pay their respects, and Irsay's grandchildren served as pallbearers and flower bearers. The Colts front office says there are also plans being made right now for a public memorial, and we'll certainly pass those along once they're announced. And over on WTHR Plus, you can take a much deeper look at Irsay's life and work and his philanthropy from over the decades. All the generosity. Just download our free app to watch on your TV. Tonight, the Fever looking to break a 3-game losing streak. They're going to be taking on the Washington Mystics right here on your local home for the Fever. Guard Sophie Cunningham is out at tonight's game because of an issue with her right ankle. Fellow guard Caitlin Clark also out tonight. Sydney Colson also on the injury list. She hurt her leg during Friday's game with the Connecticut Sun. So, to help deal with all these injuries, the Fever just signed guard Arie McDonald using the WNBA's emergency hardship exception. McDonald spent the 2024 season with the LA Sparks.